Borders. They're more than just lines on a map. They define nations, cultures, and identities, but they also spark tension, conflict, and, in some cases, violence. Today, we're diving into some of the world's most complex and contested borders. From rugged mountain regions to city streets split by territorial claims, let's explore why these lines in the sand continue to shape international relations and global politics. Let's start in Asia with one of the world's highest altitude conflicts, the India-China border. This isn't your average boundary dispute. This is a place where soldiers face off at altitudes of over 14,000 feet, battling not only each other but the extreme weather and lack of oxygen. The roots of this standoff go back to 1962, when India and China went to war over the border. Since then, both countries have claimed the area called Aksai Chin and parts of Arunachal Pradesh, leading to clashes every now and then. In 2020, tensions flared up again when Chinese and Indian soldiers clashed in the Galwan Valley, leading to fatalities on both sides, the first in over 40 years. The issue here is complex. The two countries have differing views on where the border lies, leading to a line of actual control, or LAC, that's heavily patrolled. With both India and China investing in infrastructure and troops along the border, it's a place that could become a flashpoint if tensions rise. Now let's move to the Middle East, specifically the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one of the longest-running disputes of modern times. At the heart of it is the question of borders. Who controls which land, and where a future Palestinian state could be? After the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel captured Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. These territories are still highly contested. The UN recognizes them as occupied territories, but the situation is complicated by Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, which have grown over the decades. Many attempts have been made to find a two-state solution, but progress has been slow. This border conflict goes beyond just physical boundaries. It's a deep-rooted political, social, and historical issue that affects millions of lives. Next, let's move to another split that has divided a people, the Korean Peninsula. The 38th parallel, known as the Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, separates North and South Korea. It's one of the most heavily fortified borders in the world, with nearly 2 million troops stationed on both sides. The Korean conflict started with the Korean War in 1950, which ended in an armistice in 1953, but not a peace treaty. This means, technically, North and South Korea are still at war. The DMZ has become a symbol of the Cold War era, with both sides having dramatically different political systems. North Korea, a closed-off communist state, and South Korea, a capitalist democracy, stand in stark contrast to each other. The border itself is only 2.5 miles wide, but represents a deep ideological divide. Finally, let's look at the Western Sahara, an area in North Africa with a complicated status. The Western Sahara conflict involves Morocco and the indigenous Sahrawi people, represented by the Polisario Front. Morocco claims the territory, while the Polisario Front seeks independence, backed by Algeria. The conflict started when Spain, which previously colonized Western Sahara, withdrew in 1975. This left the region's status unresolved, sparking a struggle between Morocco and the Polisario Front. Since then, there's been a ceasefire but no resolution, and the region remains divided by a long sand wall built by Morocco. The United Nations has tried to hold a referendum for independence, but political obstacles have made it nearly impossible. This means the people of Western Sahara are caught in a long-standing stalemate, with no end in sight. Do you know of any other border disputes? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to be notified of my future videos. I'll see you next time.